Welcome to Social Psych Today. I am Lori Edwards-Azuru. I am your host. Today we will be talking about deception. I will be giving you 5 examples of facial clues that can tell you when someone is lying or being deceitful toward you. On part 2, we'll be talking about attributions and all the different things that go along with that, as well as we'll be giving you a definition and 5 examples of different attributions. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. The first level of deception we're going to talk about is micro expressions. Those are the small little tiny expressions. It's like a poke or a sting or maybe just a fleeting look on your face when someone asks you something that you're not prepared to tell the truth about. And that's the first thing we're going to look for when we talk about deception. Here are some examples of micro expressions. Enjoy! The second part of deception we're going to talk about is the interchannel discrepancies. That is when a person cannot do 2 things at one time. They may be able to control their facial expressions, but at the same time they can't look you in the eye and lie, because it's impossible to chew bubble gum and walk at the same time, especially when you're lying. The third clue we would like to talk about when it comes to deception is eye contact. Although we talked about eye contact, this is a different type of eye contact. We're talking about someone who is excessively blinking and their pupils are dilated even more so than what they should be. Here's some examples. Hi, we're going to talk about our 4th example in the level of deception. We're going to talk about the exaggerated facial expressions. When someone smiles, like when they don't like you and they put this broad fake smile on. We all have seen that before. I'm sure we all know what we're talking about. Or when someone acts like they're super tore up about someone maybe dying or having an accident when they're really not that sad about it. They try to kind of go overboard a little bit. Here's some more examples. Hi, we're going to talk about our 5th and final level of deception. It is called linguistic style. It is when you pause before you say something. Instead of just letting it come out, you sort of pause before you say it. You stop and think about what you're going to say. You see politicians doing that a lot. And also, another part of that is the pitch sound. When they are talking, like when you're a kid and you do something you're not supposed to do, and your voice goes real high and says, "I didn't do it," or "I didn't mean to do it." And these are the last and final examples on part 1. Hi, and welcome back to our program. We're doing part 2. We're talking about attributions today. Later on in the program, my husband will be joining me, Bright Azuru, who will help me finish the program out today with a few examples of attribution. But we're going to talk about the first one. Attribution is the explanation that we create to help us understand why people behave the way that they do. Sometimes we just sort of make up explanations, and there could be outside reasons on why a person is being and doing what they're doing, and we'll just sort of, make up our own assumptions about people, and nothing can be further from the truth. We're going to talk about correspondence bias gender, and that is what people think about people when they see them, whether it be a male or a female. Previously, we didn't really talk about what we were going to do because I kind of wanted to hear his raw views on what he thought when he was looking at this picture of this angry man and this angry woman. So when you look at the angry man, what do you think, hon? Time is a wasting.
I think the woman is angry because she's emotionally unstable.
Okay, and what do you think about the man?
He's just angry because something went bad.
Something went bad.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a bad day.
Maybe he had a bad day.
Okay, and so that basically is, I'm going to see if you can see the picture of the woman and the man. I'm going to bring it up there as close as I possibly can. to the screen. And so you can see what we're talking about. And that is what we call...
I mean, the man is having a bad day.
Yes.
The woman is unstable.
The woman is unstable.
Yeah, because emotionally unstable. Look at her face.
Yes, she's emotionally unstable. Okay, that goes to show you that gender bias is really true and even lives in our home as well. And I'm sure it lives in a lot of other people's home, is where we tend to think that women are emotionally unstable and men are having a bad day. But in reality, we are all equally emotionally stable. It's just that because women tend to show their emotions more than men, that we're geared for people to tell us we're emotional. Hi, we're back, and we are talking about our second example of attributions, and my husband has agreed to help me this evening since we can't get out on location and tape anyone, so we're going to do it here. We're going to have our show live here at the studio. The second attribution we're going to talk about is self-serving bias. By the way, honey, can you name the first 5 books of the Bible?
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy.
See, I can name the first 5 books of the Bible, but because he could name it too, he's just lucky. It doesn't really mean that he knows it. That was just a lucky guess for him. But
yes, I know it.
But I myself went to Sunday school every Sunday, so it's because I'm such a great person is why I know it. And that right there is an example of self-serving bias. It's when you think that you're good and someone else is lucky. Hi, welcome back. We're going to talk about our third example in the attribution family. And this one is casual attributions. One of the members of casual attributions, or one of the branches, is called action identification. Honey, what are you doing?
Counting money.
My husband here is the most wonderful saver. He's probably saving up that money so he can take me to Las Vegas. I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas with him. Or maybe he's saving the money so we can go to Paris. Honey, why are you saving that money?
Oh, please. That's my lunch next week.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that right there is an example of action identification. Is when we tend to think that someone is doing something for an extravagant reason, and it's really just a simple reason, but we've made up our own for our own various reasons, and why we just kind of went off the deep end on why someone's doing something. And that again is action identification. Hi, and we're back to talk about our fourth attribution. We're talking about fundamental attributional errors, or fundamental attribution errors. I want to make sure I say that correctly. This one we're talking about the actor-observer effect. And this is the tendency to attribute your own behavior mainly due to situational causes, but the behavior of others is due to their own stupidity, we might say. How you remember when we used to live in Indiana and it was so cold and snowy and the ground was always slick? Do you remember that?
I remember you falling.
You fell too.
Yeah, you fell too, but I was pushed.
There you have it, a classic example of you fell, I was pushed, the actor-observer effect. Okay, our final attribute for the evening will be correspondent inference theory. This is a theory when you think that someone is doing their job and you think that that is their personality. In reality, it may just be that they're doing their job. Say, for instance, a waitress that seats you and treats you with kindness and sits you down. You don't know what happened 5 minutes before then. It could have been her boss said that you need to be especially kind to the customers, otherwise you're going to get fired. And not really knowing that about that person, we assume that they're a nice person. In all reality, they're just doing their job so they can get paid. Correspondent inference theory is the name of our last attribute. We want to give special thanks out to Professor Karen Etheridge for allowing us to have the freedom to be able to do this show. We also want to give special thanks to Bright Azuru, my husband, for being such a good sport on Social Psychology Today. We thank you and God bless.